guys, so I'm doing my live at 5 on the road today. I am headed to a wonderful home that is going to be on the market about a week from now. We actually have a couple of them coming up. We have one tomorrow that is multi-generational, awesome home, 10 acres, 3 different homes on it, horse property. It's a rare find, and it's only about 10 minutes from downtown, maybe even less than from downtown Battleground. So if you know anyone who should be buying that home or interested in it, give me a call. Shoot me a message on that one. Another one is over on Salmon Creek. It'll go fast. It's right, you can walk over to the Salmon Creek walking trails and all of that. So that's an awesome one as well. Got a couple more. Another one in Hawkinson. Yay, Hawkinson, 5 acres, 500,000. Hard to find. Decent size home, like family home, big home. Okay, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about kind of what's on my mind right now, and that has to do with rentals. So last time we did live at 5, some people were saying there was one realtor who had some good input about rental market right now, and how because our inventory is so low, and that when it's pushing the prices, that 350, what we kind of call new home buyer price up, it's pushing it up a lot. And when that's going to happen, we're getting 340s are selling for 360s, 330s are selling for 350s. So it is pushing it up. The concern is right now with landlords not being able to evict people, which on one hand is a good thing, right? Because you're not homeless, and that's good. The concern though is that what happens when it opens back up and landlords can evict people? You're going to have some mighty angry landlords is what you're going to have, because a high number of them have not been being paid during this time. And so all these renters who are, whether they can afford it or not, I'm not really going into that, but regardless, they're not paying the rent. What do you think is going to happen as soon as the government takes the hold off of the ability for landlords who own these homes to be able to evict people? They are going to evict people. Now, 2 things have happened. One, just this week, I don't know a lot about it. If you know about it, send me information. I haven't looked into it, but I did come across a new grant of some sort that is specifically for rentals, and it's for paying your rent, and you can even do it for the months that you missed. I think it's like $100,000 grant to the state of Washington. So if you have missed paying your rent and you don't want to be evicted because you don't want to have an angry landlord by the time that you're done with all of this and they move the ban to evict people, I would definitely suggest you look into the Washington grant that came out. I think it's $100,000, and see if you can qualify to get your rent paid. They'll pay the back rent for a couple of months, and I think it goes for a couple of months forward. So that's one thing that should help. The other thing though is if a bunch of landlords say, hey, we're out of this, we're not going to be landlords anymore, this was a great idea, we didn't realize that at any point in time that the government would come in and actually stipulate that we can't evict people even when they're not paying the mortgage for us, basically. Contractual thing that the government is actually overstepping those boundaries and telling us we can't do it. So because of that, it is a much riskier thing for an investor to invest at this moment. And I think that a lot of people who've tiptoed around and kind of, have a rental here or there are going to say, not worth it. Well, when those come back on the market and we get a flood of homes on the market and we get people who are evicted who now want to buy because there's not enough rentals, are they going to be able to afford those rentals? What just happened right now is all of those first-time home buyer homes are increasing in price because we have so few homes, because landlords can't sell, because people are stuck. And so now, next spring, if it's opened up and we have more homes, the issue is really those homes are not going to be very affordable. They went up another $20,000, $30,000 because, not because, it shouldn't go up that much, but it will, because the appraisals will show that the value is there because the buyers are so desperate right now that they're paying more and it's pushing it up. So, I just wanted to be a little happy voice here today with all that good info. So let me tell you something about it. Here's the one thing. If you are renting and you are concerned about what's going to happen when the rental market changes, when people can be evicted, and you can possibly afford to buy. Now, what does that mean? You can afford to buy and have 100% financing if you have a certain income. You can afford to buy and have 100% financing if you live in a certain area, depending on your credit and a few other things. But there are actually options, and the amazing thing right now is the rates are low. Now, here's what I know. If you listen to the radio for the last 15 years, what do you hear? Rates are low, rates are low, okay? I understand that that's a bunch of marketing, and yes, it's true, and they can buy it down and all this kind of stuff. My gauge for, is it really a good time to refinance? Is it really a good time to buy? And how much of a difference does it really make? I pay attention to my lenders. So when my personal lenders that I'm watching and seeing at all these years, and all of a sudden they're refinancing their own homes, I'm on it. That tells me, okay, it's really a good time to refinance. So, and there's a number of things that go into that. There's, let's not talk about refinance. If you have questions about refinance, send me a message. Let's just stick with the purchases. So let me give you an example, though, of how rates, this is the last thing, because I'm just kind of flying off the cuff here today as I'm driving along to my next appointment. And one of the things is how a lot of first-time home buyers don't really know how much the difference of 3% and 3.5, it all sounds good. It used to be that we'd have, 7, 8, 9. Back in the 80s, it was in the double digits, crazy stuff. But we are so low. And one of the things, I'll give you a great example because I love a good win. I have a client right now who had a interest rate, I think around 3.75. And they got, during the inspection period, we were able to have the seller, instead of having them make some repairs, we had them pay towards their closing costs. Now, their closing costs were going to be about $6,500. So, which means they have $6,500 set aside to pay. And we got the seller to pay the majority of them. So now my buyers only have to go in with $1,500 to make up the difference. And here's where you really want to make sure you have someone advocating for you and really thinking creatively, because that's a great deal. I could have just went forward and said, okay, you guys, awesome, they're paying to pay $1,500, you guys just move forward. I have really nothing to do with the loan, so why should I even be thinking about it? That's kind of not my area of expertise. Not kind of, it is not my area of expertise, okay? What I'm thinking to myself, though, is rates are so low. These buyers are planning on staying there for at least 10 years. They've told me that. What I know is they have $6,500 pocketed away to pay their closing costs, and now they only have to bring $1,500. So instead of just moving forward with that, I call their lender, and I said, what would it cost to buy down their rate? So for about $3,000, they are buying their rate down to 3%. So what's that really mean? Okay, that's really the question here. So you got these numbers flying around. Sorry, I don't have charts and all that, but you got moving from 3.75 to 3%. In this particular case, it saved those, and then you have to kind of crunch the numbers because it does cost them $3,000. And if they're going to sell in 2 years, it's not worth it. But when will they make up the difference? How does it make sense for them to bring it? In this case, it does. So they will be there for about at least 10 years. It'll cost them $3,000 to buy it down. It will decrease their monthly payment by $140 every month. And within 10 years, they will save about $16,000. You guys, I think I'm probably more excited than the buyers, because I just even take out $3,000. I just saved them $13,000 in the first 10 years. And if they stay another 10 years, I save them I save them almost $30,000 just because I thought, we could move forward, but let me just make these couple of calls and see what else we can do. And that's the super, super exciting thing, is the strategy behind how to really make this the best deal for you and bring it together. So if you are buying, let's wrap it back around to the rental thing, because your renters who are not paying, you're scaring me. You're scaring me because I know the numbers are going up, And if you can get out, you're not only are you not going to have a good rental history, which is going to kill you with being able to buy a home, because you're not going to have the history of showing that you've paid your payments. You're not going to have a good rental history. Your credit's not going to be affected, but your good rental history is going to be affected. The interest rates are got to go up. There's not really room to go down, and the prices absolutely in that price range in Vancouver will go up. Higher price ranges, I'm not seeing the same thing happening at that degree, but 300, 360, yes, it's going up. Who's driving Miss Daisy? Sean, I desperately need a driver. I hate driving, but I like selling homes, so I'm doing it, buddy. Anyway, okay, well, you're catching the end of my rental stuff. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you next week. Hope you have a good one. Bye.